Keith, what are we doing here today?
We're building with cob, and cob is a German word that means lump from Old German, and we're making lumps of clay, sand, and straw. But you can build a whole house or business or any kind of structure out of cob, and cob is used, it's ancient, predates language, and it's used all over the globe to this very day. More people live in mud houses than any other kind of house on earth. So this is very common. People are doing this and teaching their kids all over the world, and this is what people build houses out of, and it's the cheapest way to build a house. Typically it's 4 shovels of clay to 16 shovels of sand, or a 4-to-1 ratio. Sometimes your sand's got some clay in it, sometimes your clay's got gravel and sand in it, so you have to kind of mix it, see what's happening.
Let's talk about the stomping process.
With your feet, you mash it all up and on a tarp, and then other people roll the material back into the middle so the stompers can mush it real good. You add some water, and then, like I say, you try to get that ball that it's not sticky and it doesn't fall apart. And if the ball stays together, that's good, and then you whack it with your fingers, and if it breaks, you need more clay. If it mushes and sticks to your fingers, you need more sand. This is perfect.
We made it.
It's a little sticky, but that's okay. It could have a little more sand, but
looks like something I would put on the Barbie.
Yeah, put that right on the barbecue there. And then you do a shallow trench and put rocks or gravel in the trench, just a few inches deep. It can stick out of the ground a little bit if you want to. Other than rocks, you could use bricks, broken concrete, anything that doesn't transmit
water. What's the purpose of that?
It keeps the moisture in the ground from waking up into the wall. Otherwise, the bottom of the wall deteriorates faster than the rest of the wall.
So what will you end up with as a final product here today?
Today we're going to end up with a raised bed retaining wall about 1 foot tall, maybe a little taller. And that's our project for today.
What kind of challenges does weather present to this sort of structure?
Rain will wash the house away. So you need a good roof on the building. Or in the case of these low walls, eventually we'll put bricks or rocks on the top to keep the rain from washing the top of it away. On a building, you want about a 2-foot eave with the roof to protect the walls. Gutters are nice so splashback doesn't come up. And you do plaster the outside. After you build the walls and dries, you make more cob, just like the cob you made in the first place, but this time instead of making balls, you smear it on the wall like a plaster. And then every year to 10 years, depending on how rainy your climate is, you have to replaster the building.
And if you feel an earthquake coming, you get outside.
Actually, cob buildings do better in earthquakes than any other structure. The building actually moves and wiggles and stays in place, as opposed to breaking and falling.
I see.
But it's the safest structure for an earthquake. It's the safest structure for a hurricane. Often, a whole town will be devastated except the cob buildings and hurricanes.
How do you think that local people will take this information and put it to work?
Well, I hope that they go home and build buildings in their yards and go out in the desert and build houses. And it enables the local residents to have the buildings they need with the money they have, and not have to wait or never have the buildings they need. Somebody that's a potter making ceramic pots needs a building to put their kiln in and their supplies, and that can be the most expensive part of it, or almost no expense if you make it out of cob.
And you've said that you could build an entire house for $10,000.
Yes. For about $1,000 you can build the cob structure, and then you got to buy cabinets and toilets and tubs and whatever else. And that's the most of the expense. The least expense is building the building. And then $9,000 is to outfit it.
And so what is your history with cob?
I had a construction company for 28 years. Started out as solar. When the solar credits ran out, we moved to building with alternative construction, and cob was one of the favorite of our customers to have them build. And we did that for probably another 14 years in California with those codes. which are the most astringent in the world.